Hello, it's Ben119 and welcome back to a new video. In this video, I'm going to be playing Twilight Princess HD and I'm going to be talking about the dungeon design for all the dungeons. So each video I'm going to be doing a different dungeon and I'll probably do 2 or 3 parts for every dungeon because they're quite long. It'll be around 20 minutes and this is the first dungeon. So I'm going to be getting every chest in the dungeon, every heart piece, every secret. I'll just do the dungeon the intended way as well. I won't be doing any speedrun tricks in the dungeons because that kind of defeats the point of the videos I'm making, because I'm going to be talking about the game design of the dungeons. So there's a chest on this ledge here. I think it's pretty cool because it's slightly hidden, and if someone finds it they'll be encouraged to look for more stuff because they'll be thinking, oh, there'll probably be more hidden chests around. So I think that's quite nice putting that up there. There's a little reward in it, 10 rupees. And right here, there's an enemy, we can easily kill it. And there's a monkey in a cage. So there's 8 monkeys in this temple, and that's the first one. And you'll see why we need the monkeys later on, but at first, when you're getting the monkeys, you'll probably be a bit confused. That's the same monkey that steals your lantern, by the way. We've got some spiders on here. I think it's cool how they've just put them there, so you have to kill them before going up the vines. You have to actually think about it. If you just tried climbing up, they'd knock you off. There's a door here. And the game doesn't really teach you about doors, but that's the first door, so you can presume you just open it if you've played a Zelda game. And you can. So behind here is a secret. There's a bombling here. When you hit him, he turns into a bomb. And behind this wall, there's a chest. And when I was first playing it, I think I figured it out because that part of the wall looked a bit different and there was a bomb lane. So I thought, oh, I must have to use the bomb lane to get something. So I used it on that wall, and in there is 20 rupees. That's pretty cool. There's a little reward for looking around. Right here we got a spider. So you can fight him and then finish attacking him like that. And here's the first puzzle in the dungeon. There's 4 torches that are unlit, so if you are looking around the room and you don't know what to do, I think that'll probably be what you'll pay attention to. And you'll probably see the unlit torches and think, oh, I got the lantern, I'll light them up, see what happens. And it opens up this staircase here, and we're able to get the map. So when you look at the map, you're able to see the size of the dungeon. And this dungeon's not huge, it's the first dungeon. It's quite big for a first dungeon, I gotta admit. It takes quite a while if you've not planned the route for it. I think this took me about 34 minutes in total. No, 35 or 36. Something like that. That's because I've memorized the route and I was just playing through it. But right here we see there's a bridge and this big monkey takes it out with a boomerang. So when you first play it, you're thinking, what's across that bridge? How do we get back across there? The bridge is gone. It's over. But no, you can get back across there with monkeys. And you'll probably think about that in a minute when you go back into this room. So we've seen that the monkey's got a boomerang, so we'll probably see him later on in the dungeon, which we will. Spoiler alert. So you may be thinking, maybe we could get the boomerang as the dungeon item, and that is the case. So right here we see the monkey climbs on this rope and you're able to jump across. So the monkey just goes there, you just have to stand near it and then you can just climb on. And I think a lot of people probably think, oh, what if I try the other side in a minute? And then they'll probably think, oh, there's ropes above the bridge that broke, maybe I could get monkeys to do that, but we only have 1 monkey so it wouldn't work. So you need 4 monkeys to get across there. And we'll find 4 in the first half of the dungeon, which is nice. Hey, this is what's his name? Uko. He's a bird, and he is weird. Basically, it's a bit like, what's it called? Thoreau's Wind in Ocarina of Time, where you can set it in a certain room in a dungeon, and then you can return back to that room. Say if you quit playing halfway through, you can return back to that same room. I've never really used it much, though. I guess it's handy if you just want to play little bits at a time. I've never really found it that useful. Right here's a web. You'll probably know to burn it because you've seen webs like this earlier on in the game. You've had to do the same. Right here's a bit of parkour and there's a door here. So you might as well go through this door. because U1 on the other side's locked. Now right here, we get to see the outside of the dungeon, because there's a few rooms, such as this one, that are on the outside. And there's these bridges that turn with the wind, so that's quite interesting to keep in mind. So we go across, go through the door, and this room's really important. So in this chest is a key for the room back there. But as you can see, there's a bridge in this room, but there's no wind, so the bridge doesn't move. But later on, we're able to move that bridge. So we'll have to remember to come back to this room, because it leads to the end of the dungeon and the rest of the monkeys. So yeah, there you go. Let's head back to the water room by going through this door. And if we go to our left, there is a locked door, so let's go open it. This is the first instance of making you be aware of your surroundings, because there's a spider there. And I think that teaches you just not to jump without looking or without thinking. You have to think a little bit about it. First I thought they were vines, so I tried climbing them up, and then I realised they're not vines. I had to go all the way around. So I think playing free you should be a bit more careful than I was there. But I was just doing that to show off what can happen if you're not careful. So you can knock this spider down, and it will usually just fall off, so nothing to worry about there. There you go, first locked door. Every key opens a locked door. It's not a specific locked door, but usually you only have one key at a time, so yeah. Like in other Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time, I know in the Water Temple you have like 2 or 3 keys at once, but in this game I think the maximum you have at a time is like 2, and I think that's only in one instance, so it's a bit more linear, the dungeons, but in a way they are quite non-linear. It's hard to explain what I mean by that. You have to go through them in a certain way, but each room I guess is fairly non-linear. Like the bigger rooms, the smaller rooms like this are a bit more linear. So there's a pillar there, and you can roll into it to knock off the monkey. If you don't know about that, you can talk to the first monkey and you can see him rolling into the pillar and failing, so I guess if you don't know how to do that, that could give you a clue on what to do. And once you figure it out, you get the other monkey, and these easy enemies will go after you and you can kill them easily. There you go, we got 10 rupees out of that chest. It's fairly hidden. I don't think I found that on my first time playing through. So it's pretty cool. And right here, this is quite important as well. It shows that you can use multiple monkeys to get across the gaps in bridges. I think this is important to note because later on we'll have to use 4 monkeys to get across to the mini boss, and then right at the end of the dungeon we'll have to use 8 monkeys to get to the boss door. It's quite interesting. It goes like 1, 2, 4, 8. Like it doubles the amount of monkeys you need for each goal in the temple. Right here is a hidden chest. And in the HD version there's a stamp. Now this is a Wii U exclusive thing, there's 50 to collect in the whole game. But in, I think the GameCube version of Wii, I think it's 50 rupees or 20 rupees, I'm not entirely sure. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. But in the Wii U there's 2 hidden stamps in each temple and 2 heart pieces. There's 2 heart pieces in every temple in all versions of Twilight Princess. So let's get here, and if you remember in the main room there was another door on the opposite side where you could use monkeys, so we're gonna head over to that area of the dungeon now. Something else I wanted to talk about is the fact that I only have 3 hearts, so I think it's quite good that the first dungeon you have to do with 3 hearts. There's never usually a point where you're super low on health, but you still have to be a bit careful of your health because you have barely any. You'll usually have a bottle by this point, so you could maybe store red potion, milk, or even a fairy to heal yourself if you are low on health. But that shouldn't happen unless you're really playing on like hero mode, or use the Ganondorf amiibo. So right here we see another bomb, and we're able to throw this bomb into this plant, and the plant dies. Now if you try jumping into the plant, I should have shown that off but I didn't. The plant will eat you up, and he'll spit you out and you'll lose health. So I guess that teaches you not to jump on the plants and be careful of where you jump. Some more spiders on these mines, make sure to kill them first. And then climb up. So there's 2 doors, and one of them leads to a monkey and the other one leads to a monkey. They're both unlocked. This bomb here, I'm going to actually throw it down here because I don't have enough time to go to the other side. And there's a chest down there with a heart piece. That's pretty neat. We'll get that later. And now I will pick up another bomb and I will explode a rock that's on the other side. This took me like 5 minutes to figure out when I first played it. I tried using the bomb on the other side and then I realised you couldn't jump across with it, so then I thought, oh, I must have to use that bomb. Pretty clever puzzle. Might take you a little bit to figure out, but yeah, it's pretty good. There's something I quite like about the HD version, I know I'm talking about the HD version instead of this, is I think the graphics are obviously a lot cleaner than the Wii and GameCube version. In a way, it can be a little bit too bright in areas. I think some areas may lose a little bit of atmosphere because they may seem too bright compared to what they used to look like. But it just looks nicer to play, in a way. Because obviously graphics are better, it makes it better. There you go, we got a key. I guess you could figure that out if you've already done the monkey cage, which you would have had to have done. So you have to figure that out by rolling into the pillar to get the key chest, which may be obvious, but yeah. And right there, I use the enemy to get onto that ledge to get that chest. You can just climb vines, but I think it's quite cool to know that enemies launch you. Right here's another little puzzle where you can light the lanterns. And underneath there's a hidden chest that we're not able to get yet. We need the boomerang in order to get it. And you need to blow out the torches that were already lit to get under there. It's quite clever how they do that. You have to know that lighting them raises them, so you have to presume that also delighting them lowers them. I guess it's quite interesting to note. Kill that spider. It's nice how they put a spider there as a little surprise, because there wasn't really many enemies in this room, apart from the ones under the ground. There we go, we saved monkey number 3. Gonna get these pots. Just showing you what's in these rooms. Nothing special, no chests or anything. And now we're gonna head out of this room and go to the other room. I think this dungeon's pretty cool, like I was saying. I think it is a little bit too long for a first dungeon, but it is a very good first dungeon. Like the Deku Tree and Ocarina of Time. I know Ocarina of Time is quite an old game compared to Twilight Princess, so obviously the first dungeon was going to be shorter, but I feel like the first dungeon in Ocarina of Time was more of a tutorial, just teaching you. It was just writing all the time. I feel like with this dungeon it's quite big and you can like go more where you want without being stopped, which is good. I don't know really what I'm trying to say, but I just think you have more freedom in this dungeon than you do in the Great Deku Tree. It just feels bigger as well. And more challenging. I think it is more challenging, it's a very good first dungeon. There's a little mini boss kind of thing here, so I just like to jump slash him when he gets near me, because that does the most damage. That's a good thing you can practice, jump slashes. I guess this just teaches you about enemies and best ways to fight them and not getting hit. And right here, you'll see one of those things in the middle. So you'll see some bomblins and you'll probably think, oh, just throw a bomblin in, and that's what you actually have to do. So I guess you'll know that if you've done the bit before it, because you had to do the same thing to kill one of them in the other room. So it's a good way of getting you to know what to do without having to think about it. They put in something in the room before that's similar. There you go, we've got a key. This is one of the only keys in the game that's not in a chest. It's quite interesting to know that keys can just lie around. That might be helpful later on in the game. There you go, open this, and there's a monkey in here. And if you've been counting, you'll have 4 monkeys at this point, so we're able to go to the mini-boss room. So we're going to head over to there now. Well, not the mini-boss room, but across the bridge to the mini-boss room. The broken bridge. So there's a chest down there that we're going to get now. So let's jump down. Now there's another door you may have noticed on the left side. And you have to climb up some vines to get to it. And in there was some bridges that we're not able to get across yet because we need the boomerang. And yeah, in that chest there was a heart piece. That is the first heart piece in the dungeon. It's not that hidden, but I guess if you're not looking around for everything, you'll probably miss it. There you go, go across. And we've got 4 monkeys, and they're heading towards this door, so obviously we'll go in that door, because where else could we go at this point? Nowhere. We've done everything right up till this point, so there's no reason not to go in here. So we'll go to the edge, and as you can see, the monkeys will go above the bridge. we're able to use them to get across. I think this is pretty satisfying once you get all 4 monkeys and you're able to get across. Good feeling you get as a beginner. There you go, you gotta time the jumps. If you miss it, you'll fall down. Don't want to do that. You want to be careful there. You'll see some bridges on the left, we'll get into that on the next episode. Because this episode will be finished once I get the wind boomerang from the monkey boss. Because I'm splitting the dungeons into 2 halves and doing part 1 and then part 2. They're both around the same length. So here we go, first main mini boss of the game. And you will see what the boomerang can do just from him using it. Weird thing is, it doesn't have the wind effect when he uses it, but when Link uses it, it does. I always found that really strange. There's some piranha plants on the ceiling that he's able to knock off. Later on, we'll see some piranha plants on the ceiling, and you're able to knock them off with the boomerang as well. So I guess this teaches you a little bit about piranha plants. So basically what you have to do here is it's another case of rolling into pillars. You have to wait for him to throw the boomerang, roll into it, and then he won't catch the boomerang will hit him. You just have to hit him in the bum to damage him. As you can see, he'll jump across. I think just keep an eye on where he is and make sure not to get hit by the boomerang or get too far behind where he is. Just stick near him. There we go, that's just a quick spin. You can do a quick spin if you spin the control stick and press B. Quite hard to explain. You can do that in pretty much every 3D Zelda game. There you go, one more time. Jump slash him to finish him off. And there we go. And there was a bug on him that turned him evil. So he's actually not even evil, he's just been turned evil. And I think now he just sees Link and he's embarrassed, so he runs off. So there you go, that is pretty much all of the first half of the first dungeon in Twilight Princess. If there's anything I missed out, please let me know. It's been fun to talk about it. And replaying the dungeon, I think it is a very good first dungeon. So in the second half, I'm going to be talking about the boomerang quite a bit, and how they get you to use the boomerang in puzzles, how boss key puzzles will be like, because there's a pretty good boss key puzzle in this temple. And I'll be talking about the boss as well, because I think the first boss is very good. It looks very threatening, but it's actually quite easy. There you go, part 1 done. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. In part 2, I'm going to be starting exactly from this point in the dungeon, and we're going to get straight into it. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed it, please watch part 2. Goodbye.